10-mile track. It's a boys' night in with BBC Two tomorrow night from 6:45. Right now, though, how's your team fared in Boxing Day's final score?
Welcome to your Boxing Day final score and a very Merry Christmas to you all. Garth, Crooks and Mark Bright are Santa's helpers today. We'll hear from them very, very soon. A win already today in the Premier League for West Ham. More details on that and all the other early kickoffs. But first, the latest from the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the top flight. And we're going to start at the City of Manchester Stadium. Of course, it's Roberto Mancini's first match in charge. Damien Johnson is watching this one.
City 2, Stoke 0. The new Manchester City manager has barely put a foot wrong from his pre-match appearance, resplendent in a City scarf, to his side's domination of the game, and so far at least a clean sheet to boot. Martin Petrov tapped them in front. The ever-industrious Carlos Tevez poked home a second on the half-time whistle. Stoke offered little going forward until the introduction of James Beesey and Ricardo Fuller. Beesey forced a near-post save with a volley from Given in the second half. Robinho's just been substituted for Craig Bellamy, and was there a hint of farewell in his wave to the crowd? City lead 2-0.
OK, to the Stadium of Light now, and two teams really out of sorts of late. Everton, the visitors, and Steve Sutton is watching.
Well, they're producing good Boxing Day fare, that's for certain, Gabby. Sunderland lead by 1-0 in the first half. Darren Bent with a header after a delicious cross from Ken Wynne-Jones. But since then, it's been largely all Everton. They've certainly dominated this second half. Chances from Finlay, Cahill and Sahar all coming close. But it's still that one goal from Darren Bent which separates the sides. Sunderland 1, Everton 0.
Let's go to the DW Stadium now. Blackburn, the visitors. James Mason is watching for us. How's it going?
Yeah, thanks, Gabby. It's Wigan 1, Blackburn 1, with both teams desperate for a win. It's hardly surprising this Lancashire derby has been a heated affair, with neither side able to dominate. Blackburn took the lead in the first half when Ryan Nelson's cross goal header found an unmarked Benny McCarthy to volley home from close range. But a stirring half-time team talk from Roberto Martinez seems to have done the trick, and his struggling Wigan side equalised through Hugo Rodiega's powerful header to spur a period of play. They should have taken the lead, but it's Wigan 1, Blackburn 1 at the moment.
OK, on to the details from those early games. We'll start at St Andrews. Simon Brotherton was there.
An enthralling, action-packed encounter between an informed Birmingham City team and the league leaders Chelsea, who continue to struggle to impose themselves in the month of December. They also ended the match with 10 players after the late sending off of Florent Malouda for 2 yellow cards. Both sides had their chances here. Birmingham thought they'd scored before half-time, but Christian Benitez was controversially ruled offside, despite appearing to be level with Didier Drogba, who was lying on the floor on the edge of the 6-yard box. Chelsea had enough opportunities to have scored themselves at least once or twice. Joe Hart made 3 excellent saves. Sturridge shot wide. Alex smacked a free kick against the crossbar, and Florent Malouda missed a great chance in the second half. So it's more points dropped by the leaders. It's now 1 win in 7 in all competitions since the impressive 3-0 win at Arsenal. But Birmingham City add another point to their tally. They are now unbeaten in 10. Birmingham City 0, Chelsea 0.
David Garrido was at Upton Park today for the visit of Portsmouth. Let's get all the details on that one.
West Ham 2, Portsmouth 0. Perhaps it's not surprising that the two worst teams in the division up to this point served up scrappy post-Christmas fare, but Luis Jimenez was at the heart of both goals. Having only just come on as a sub, he was brought down, and Alessandro Diamanti converted the resulting penalty for his 5th goal of the season. And then Jimenez swung in the free kick, from which Radoslav Kovac headed home the second late on. The few clear-cut opportunities that Portsmouth had were wasted. This is only the Hammers' 3rd win in 18 games in all competitions, but how vital will these points prove come May? As for Pompey, they will now lose players to the Africa Cup of Nations. Plenty of food for thought then for boss Avram Grant. Final score, West Ham 2, Portsmouth 0.
Jonathan Pearce was watching Fulham against Spurs at Craven Cottage. Let's hear from him now.
Fulham 0, Tottenham 0. Just like last Boxing Day, it finished goalless between these two. I'm not too sure how. Fulham had bossed the first half with their superior passing and industry. Danny Murphy brought a good save out of Gomez and Dempsey rattling the bar. Spurs, with Keane preferred to Defoe, had started neatly but didn't really create any real danger. Tottenham kept a much better shape at the start of the second half, but the impressive Zamora still brought 2 good saves out of Gomez with headers, while the Brazilian also blocked from Dempsey, the best move of the game. Crouch nearly won it for Spurs though with a dipping volley, splendidly saved by Schwarzer, who then blocked the rebound from Ginas before Dempsey was an inch or two from sliding a Fulham winner in from a Duff cross. Spurs will be the happier side to share the points, 0-0.
And let's head to Turf Moor to hear about Burnley-Bolton from our man there, Alan Biggs.
Burnley still beaten only once at Turf Moor, but their last victory here was back in October, and this was a better point for Bolton because Burnley should have won this one, despite trailing at the break to Matthew Taylor's exquisite free kick. Bolton comfortable at that stage, but they were soon rocking. David Nugent levelled with a fine header from Elliott's cross, and the Clarets camped out in the visiting half. But Nugent joined Fletcher and Eagles in wasting great opportunities, and with Jaskalainen standing firm in Bolton's goal, Owen Coyle's side couldn't force the issue. Gary Megson, the happier manager, you feel. Burnley won, Bolton won.
And you can see all the goals, incidents and any action you may have missed today on Match of the Day, 10:25 tonight on BBC One. So, Roberto Mancini takes over at Manchester City and maybe, just maybe, they'll have a clean sheet for the first time at home in the league since August.
Well, I think that's
instant impact?
Great impact. And if you look at the 2 games he's taken over, I think it's Wolves, it's Stoke and then Wolves. 2 games that Mark Hughes possibly could have won on the back of his 4-3. So they sacked him then. The most important thing, I think, it was Zabaleta, Torre, Company and Silvinho have been at the back. For me, though, the key man has been Given. I think he's been outstanding, and it will be really impressive if they can keep a clean sheet, because this is what we said before. If Brian Kidd can organise the defence, that can move them forward, because I think going forward, midfield and attack, they've got good players.
And what about Birmingham's point at lunchtime at St Andrews against Chelsea? And they may feel aggrieved with a goal disallowed that it wasn't 3 points.
Yeah, I think the goal aggrieved. There was a man on the deck and Choo-Choo, Benitez puts the ball in the back of the net. I thought they were unlucky. Really thought they were unlucky. Chelsea have struggled, really struggled. During the last 2 games, Birmingham now unbeaten in 10. I think this represents probably their best period in top-flight football ever. I think of those 10, I think they've won 6. So it's been a really impressive performance by them, top half of the table. For Chelsea, though, when you're chasing the Championship, you've really got to go away and be clinical. You look at Manchester United losing last week at Fulham. There's just so many, freak results, I think, that you'd have to say, at the moment. But, well done to Birmingham. I mean, they really made Chelsea struggle.
You mentioned the altercation, not the altercation, the conversation between Frank Lampard and Joe Hart. The banter, yes, that's it. But you're impressed with him today, Joe Hart?
Joe Hart was outstanding. I think it was a difference between the 2 sides. Chelsea, I think, would have undoubtedly won the game if Joe Hart hadn't been so good. There's a wonderful moment you'll see on Match of the Day tonight when Lampard, who feels he should have scored, tells Joe Hart what he thinks of the save, and Joe Hart tells him what he thinks of the comments. It's wonderful. You've got to watch it.
You lucky chap, something like
that. Yeah.
And West Ham, with that lunchtime win against Portsmouth, takes them out the bottom 3, but where does Avram Grant go from here with this Portsmouth side? You can have that instant impact, as he has, a couple of wins, but now... Well,
we're talking about the transfer window opens, don't they, in this embargo they have on. Motti was talking about Yunus Kabul going for 12 million, which I find astonishing. But obviously he's in the know, John Motson, he would know that. If they sell Kabul, they're going to obviously try and bring in a couple of other players. Didan's going to go to the African Cup of Nations. I think they're struggling. I really do now. I did think at the start of the season that they would struggle, but not beating West Ham just above them obviously puts a bit of a gap. And as we said, 5 points separates 9 teams, Gabby, at the bottom. So, they're not out of it.
OK, well, of course, the team who are bottom at Christmas, only once have they survived in the Premier League. Portsmouth are bottom at the moment. Are they going to buck that very considerable trend? Well, of course, Newcastle United know what it's like to leave the Premier League, don't they? The Championship leaders now they are. We're at Hillsborough this lunchtime. Dan O'Hagan saw the action for us.
Potter's ball sent in. Nobby's header cleared. It's going to come back out to Potter again here, the corner taker. And Potter pulls it back, in goes the cross, and Wednesday lead. Luke Varney's header. This is Danny Guthrie. Guthrie's cross. Here's Nolan with a header, and Newcastle level. 10 goals this season for Kevin Nolan. Gutierrez into Amiobi, lovely take and turn. Amiobi! Magnificent goal for Newcastle. Shola Amiobi, 7 goals in 7 games, and that's a beauty.
Tudgay's layoff for Jermaine Johnson. Back for Tudgay again. In the middle, Varney's in there, and also now is O'Connor. And goes that cross. Harper with a test, which he's not got hold of. James O'Connor, after Steve Harper missed the flight of the ball, and Wednesday level at 2-2.
OK, let's stay in the Championship and get the best of the action from Loftus Road. Well, Bristol City were the visitors, and John Roeder saw this one.
Williams. Oh, it's found its way all the way through to Hall. In towards Simpson. It might fall to Simpson! What an opportunist goal for Jay Simpson! Number 9 of the season for the on-loan striker. And that halts a run of 4 appearances without a goal for Simpson. Nice touch from Buzaki. Ledgerwood. A little bit of room for Michaeli Ledgerwood! Oh, what an excellent goal that is! Michaeli Ledgerwood scoring for the second match in succession for Paul Hart's team. And they double their advantage just before the break. Forward by Williams. Maynard, brilliant! What an outstanding goal from Mickey Maynard! 2 touches to get it away from the 2 defenders. And Bristol City are back in this match.
Well, you can see all the goals on the Football League show tonight. BBC One it is, after Match of the Day at 10 to midnight. OK, let's stay in the Championship and go to the Hawthorns for an update on West Brom. Peterborough. West Brom looking to close the gap on Newcastle United to just 8 points at the top of the Championship. Mark Bishop, how are they going?
They're going very well, Gabby. West Bromwich Albion 2, Peterborough United 0. And when you're bottom of the table, that lucky break seems to desert you, as the scoreline, I must say, doesn't reflect the fact that Peterborough have been on top until Luke Moore's opening goal. Durrans with a couple of challenges, rode a couple of good tackles, crossed the ball into the penalty area, and Luke Moore smashing the ball past Joe Lewis. The second goal had to come, the home side with the bit between their teeth, Brunt's cross causing mayhem in the Peterborough penalty area, and Ryan Bennett inexplicably heading the ball into his own net. It's been a question of ifs and buts for Peterborough, but West Bromwich Albion well on course for those 3 vital points. They lead by 2-0.
Reading was second in the table with 49 points this time last season. Things not quite like that, are they, at the moment, Tony Husband? But they're making something of a good effort against Swansea this afternoon at the Majeski.
Absolutely, it's been a very good second half here. Reading won, Swansea won. Swansea's impressive passing football reaped the dividends for them in the first half when Darren Pratley scored 10 minutes before the break. But the game's changed since Gylfi Sigurdsson's stoppage time free kick levelled the scores. Has been a good second half, as I've mentioned. Gorka Pintado's brought a smart save from Adam Federici in the Reading goal, and Sigurdsson's had a volley saved. 1-1, 7 minutes to play.
Thank you very much, Tony. Let's get an update from Pride Park. Derby traditionally have been doing quite well at home this season. 6 of their 7 wins have come there. Joe Spate can tell us whether they're going to get another one today.
Not so. Derby 0, Blackpool 2, and only one word to describe Derby today, and that's dire. Full march to Blackpool, who had a sackload of chances in the first half. They only took the one, a Jake Buxton own goal, after good work by Brett Ormerod. Ormerod's now scored a fine second to send the Derby fans streaming for the exits, and Dean Moxey's been sent off for a second bookable offence. It's been a tough festive season for Nigel Clough, a second straight home defeat. Next up, Newcastle on Monday, with a vast improvement required.
OK, let's go to the Rico now. Steve Lee is watching the visit of Doncaster Rovers, who won their last 4.
Yes, it's still Coventry 0, Doncaster 0. We've got 7 minutes left. There's been a Boxing Day barrage from Coventry. They missed a penalty in the first half from Leon Best, hit the post through Freddie Eastwood. Have had 2 great volleys from Best, saved by Neil Sullivan. Here's a chance. And a penalty. A penalty has been given by referee Rob Subridge. And we'll come back in a moment with the result of that penalty. It's still 0-0.
Yes, Steve, we'll go back to that, but we're going to now get some goal news from the Stadium of Light. And which way has it gone, Steve Sutton?
It's an equaliser for Everton. Fellaini with the goal, lashing it into the net after a sustained spell of pressure from Everton. They won 3 corners in a row. Sunderland couldn't clear in the end. The ball came in. They didn't clear their box. Fellaini, edge of the box there, 6 yards out, and absolutely thundered it, giving Fulham no chance at all. Sunderland won, Everton won.
The Everton goal, much predicted by the pundits around here, naming no names. OK, let's go back to the Rico Arena for that penalty news from Steve Lee.
Yes, Clinton Morrison, the substitute. He's only been on a couple of minutes. He's wiping the mud from his boots. The first half penalty from Leon Best was missed. This one is in. Morrison has scored. 6 minutes left, and Coventry have at last broken the deadlock. Coventry 1, Doncaster 0.
So it was you, Brighty, who said that if Everton get one back, and you said that about half an hour ago, you felt like they were getting back into the game.
Sunderland took the lead in the first half. A fantastic goal. Kenwyn Jones cross, as Garth quite rightly said. Two strikers working together, and Darren Bent heading in. Since the goal, I think it's been all Everton. And I have to say, the second half, they've done everything but score. Cahill's missed, Saha's missed, Fellaini's missed. Fellaini's just got one, and I said if they score, I fancy them with the momentum to go on to win it, and there's still enough time.
Sunderland have lost their last 5 league matches. OK, let's go up to the SPL for some goal news. It's at Celtic Park. Brian McLaughlin, which way has it gone?
And it's gone to the home side. A second goal for Celtic. Indeed, this could be number 3, but no, the ball's been pulled back for Fortuny, pulled back. But the second goal coming from Niall McGinn on the 90th minute, coming from the left-hand side, played the ball into his right foot and fired an unstoppable shot into the top corner net. Glenn Louvens gave Celtic the lead in the first half. They're cruising to victory now. It's Celtic 2, Hamilton 0.
And they'll close the gap on Rangers at the top of the SPL, who play tomorrow against Hibs. Let's go to Tannadice, staying in the SPL with Ian Turner. They lost their manager, Dundee United, this week, of course, Craig Levine to the Scotland job. No goals today. Is that any kind of hangover from that decision, do you think?
No, not really. If you consider that they lost their last game 3-0, this could be seen as an improvement. But as you say, Gabby, all I want for Christmas is a goal, but there's little sign I'm going to get one. We've only got 3 minutes left. Dundee United doing all the pressing. Peter Houston, their caretaker manager, certainly not afraid to go for it. He's put on 3 strikers in an attempt to find a goal, but he's running out of time, 0-0.
OK, any sign of a winner at the DW Stadium? James Mason's the man to tell us.
We've not had a winner yet. It's still 1-1, but both sides look very capable of doing so. Hugo Rodiega for Wigan, but the moment of the match has just come from Chris Kirkland to deny a Benny McCarthy overhead kick from point-blank range. Worth watching a match of the day tonight, but it's still 1-1.
Plenty of good saves today, it feels like. Maybe goalkeeping lesson tonight on Match of the Day. Let's go to the Riverside Stadium now, where it's good news for Gordon Strachan. Natalie Jackson.
Yes, Middlesbrough 3, Scunthorpe 0. Borough cruising now. The goals, an early Johnson penalty after Byrne pulled down Adair. Byrne was harshly sent off in the process. Scunthorpe have battled, but they never recovered. Rhys Williams' strike made it 2-0 to Borough just before half-time. The third came when Adair's scuff shot hit the post, then crossed the line. Borough continued to pile on the pressure here to 10 men Scunny. And after 8 weeks, Strachan's first home win is in the bag. Middlesbrough 3, Scunthorpe 0.
OK, Steve May was at Vicarage Road this lunchtime for the visit of high-flying Nottingham Forest.
A Nottingham journalist told me before this game that Forest aren't playing well away from home, reflected by their scoring just 4 times in their previous 5 away trips. And he was right. Watford scrapped the better chances. Don Cowie hit the woodwork in the second half after the Forest fullback Chris Gunter had headed Mariappa's chip off his own line in the first. Even so, Forest might have won it 5 minutes from the end when substitute Dexter Blackstock's header was spectacularly turned away by Scott Loach, but that would have been an injustice. Either way, Forest extend their unbeaten run to 15 games. Watford 0, Forest 0.
Unbeaten all season. Incredible, that, isn't it? Let's get a full-time report now from Cardiff. Plymouth, of course, the visitors there with Andy Gillies.
Before today, Plymouth hadn't secured a point or scored a goal in the Championship since November the 7th. And to be honest, for much of this game, that unhappy record looks set to be extended. Cardiff were encamped in the Plymouth half for most of the game, but a combination of poor finishing and fine goalkeeping prevented the home side from exploiting that domination. Then, with 6 minutes of normal time left, a rare attack from the visitors ended with Gary Sawyer striking a fine shot from the edge of the area into the bottom corner. Joe Ledley missed a glorious chance to equalise in injury time to sum up a frustrating day for Cardiff and a marvellous one for Plymouth.
Leeds haven't lost in the league at home since January, and it doesn't look like that's going to change today. Andrew James is watching their match against Hartlepool.
Where they lead by 3 goals to 1, Gabby. They look very comfortable indeed. All that after going behind to Armand Bjornsson's goal for Hartlepool early on. But 2 goals from Jermaine Beckford, who was having to apologise earlier this week for a show of petulance after being substituted last week. He's got 2. Gary Liddell with an own goal giving Leeds their 3rd, and Leeds comfortable and looking like they're going to be 6 points clear tonight. Leeds 3, Hartlepool 1.
OK, Charlton kicked off early against Swindon today. Of course, they're challenging Leeds at the top of League One. It ended 2-2. They were down to 9 men. They got that equaliser 4 minutes into injury time. OK, let's move on to Carrow Road now. It's Norwich-Millwall at lunchtime. Mike Sewell saw this one.
Norwich 2, Millwall 0. When the Norwich faithful trudged out of here on the opening day, the prospect of being third on a run of 10 league games without defeat and serious contenders for automatic promotion at the midway point of the season must have seemed unimaginable. Norwich didn't impose themselves on this match as early as they would have liked, but when Wes Hoolahan gave them a 28th minute lead, they assumed control, which they never relinquished. Simon Lappin and Hoolahan were instrumental in everything Norwich did, but it was the former and Chris Martin who combined midway through the second half to create another goal for Grant Holt, his 20th of the season, and another reminder of how important he is to Norwich's promotion push. Norwich 2, Millwall 0.
Let's get a little update from League Two leaders Rochdale, who are at the Alexandra Stadium, as is Naz Premji. It's full time, actually, there, sorry. Naz, how did that one go?
Full time, Crewe Alexandra 2, Rochdale 2, a point apiece, Gabby, in a real Boxing Day blockbuster. Craig Dawson opened the scoring for the visitors with a good half volley. The home side then levelled through Luke Murphy. Callum Higginbottom then scored a scorcher from distance. Watch that tonight on the Football League show. Really good quality finish that into the top corner before Matt Toole for Dario Gradi's men had a simple tap in a few minutes later. The points are shared here. A real good advert for League Two football. It's finished here, Crewe Alexandra 2, Rochdale 2.
OK, let's head to the Stadium of Light now. The points are being shared at the moment there, but Steve Sutton, can you see a winner?
I wouldn't be surprised, Gabby, because neither side's settling for a point. They're both still going for it. Sunderland have just edged back into it a little bit, although this half has really belonged an awful lot to Everton. Sahar's just gone off. James Vaughan's come on. Jordan Henderson for Sunderland just wide. A ball into the box there for Everton, but nobody on the end of it. It's 1-1.
And it's that scoreline exactly at the DW Stadium at the moment. James Mason, can you see a winner coming there?
I can, but I couldn't pick which side it's going to be. Wigan and Blackburn, to all their credit for their lowly positions as it just ends, have given everything to this game, Gabby. It's been a real good advert for Premier League football, even at the wrong end of the table. Blackburn went ahead in the first half when an unmarked Benny McCarthy met Ryan Nelson's header to volley home. The 39th goal Wigan have conceded this season, would you believe? But Wigan were a different side in the second half and equalised through Hugo Rodiega as he headed home a fine Charles and Zogby across. But as I said, it was end-to-end stuff. Both sides had their chances to win it, but perhaps the moment of the second half, a point-blank save from Chris Kirkland from a Benny McCarthy overhead kick. They both wanted to win. Neither side got it. It's ended Wigan Athletic 1, Blackburn Rovers 1.
And the full-time whistle has blown at Pride Park. Joe Spate was telling us about boos there, and the home side has gone down to Blackpool.
Yes, Derby 0, Blackpool 2, and another Boxing Day defeat for Derby, their fourth in a row. And but for a vocal band of Blackpool fans to my right-hand side, Pride Park pretty much deserted by the end. Those who remain let out their frustrations. The goals, Jake Buxton with an own goal, one from Brett Ormerod, and Blackpool's first one at Derby for 24 years.
The closing stages at the Hawthorns. West Brom looking to close the gap at the top of the Championship to 8 points. Mark Bishop's watching.
With West Bromwich Albion 2, Peterborough United 0. Peterborough bottom of the table, much like the Brussels sprout on the Christmas leftovers. Unfancy and unfashionable. They played a terrific first half, but up until that Luke Moore goal, they were on top. As soon as Moore scored from close range, it was game over. Peterborough lost the plot. It was Ryan Bennett who then headed past his own keeper, Joe Lewis. Midday and Wood have had chances. It's all West Bromwich Albion now as they're playing, running down the clock. It looks as if West Brom are going to leapfrog into second place as they lead 2-0.
OK, let's go to the Stadium of Light now. The final whistle has blown straight on to the City of Manchester Stadium, where Roberto Manchester, as we go on. But don't forget, final score. We're here every week. You can hear what these guys have got to say from 2:30 on the red button, and you can get all the build-up and the goals as they go in every single Saturday. All you have to do, press that red button. And a little treat for you as well, because on Monday we'll be here as well from 2:30 on the red button, at 4:30 on BBC One. But it's time now to get the full classified results with Tim Gudgin.
In the Barclays Premier League, Birmingham City 0, Chelsea 0. Burnley 1, Bolton Wanderers 1. Fulham 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Liverpool and Wolverhampton Wanderers have an even kick-off at past. Manchester City 2, Stoke City 0. Sunderland 1, Everton 1. West Ham United 2, Portsmouth 0. Wigan Athletic 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. In the Coca-Cola Championship, Cardiff City 0, Plymouth Argyle 1. Coventry City 1, Doncaster Rovers 0. Crystal Palace 3, Ipswich Town 1. Derby County 0, Blackpool 2. Leicester City and Sheffield United have an evening kick-off shortly, 5:15 I think. Middlesbrough 3, Scunthorpe United 0. Preston North End and Barnsley's match was postponed. Queen's Park Rangers 2, Bristol City 1. Reading 1, Swansea City 1. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Newcastle United 2. Watford 0, Nottingham Forest 0. West Bromwich Albion 2, Peterborough United 0. In the Coca-Cola League 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Leyton Orient 0. Bristol Rovers match with Walsall and Carlisle United's match with Huddersfield Town both postponed. Charlton Athletic 2, Swindon Town 2. Gillingham 0, Brentford 1. Leeds United 3, Hartlepool United 1. Milton Keynes Dons 4, Stockport County 1. Norwich City 2, Millwall 0. Oldham Athletics match with Tranmere Rovers postponed. Southampton 3, Exeter City 1. Southend United 1, Colchester United 2. Yeovil Town 4, Wycombe Wanderers 0. In League 2, Aldershot Town 4, Barnet 0. Bury and Bradford City's match postponed. Cheltenham Town 0, AFC Bournemouth 1. Crewe Alexandra 2, Rochdale 2. Lincoln City 2, Chesterfield 1. Morecambe 1, Accrington Stanley 2. Northampton Town 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Notts County's match with Grimsby Town, Port Vales with Burton Albion and Rotherham United with Darlington, all three postponed. Shrewsbury Town 2, Macclesfield Town 2. Torquay United 1, Hereford United 0. The Blue Square Premier, AFC Wimbledon 5, Hayes and Yeading United 0. Barrow 3, Gateshead 3. Cambridge United 1, Stevenage Borough 3. Crawley Town 2, Eastbourne Borough 2. Ebbsfleet United 2, Grays Athletic 1. Forest Green Rovers 3, Salisbury City 1. Kettering Town 0, Tamworth 0. Kidderminster Harriers 2, Chester City 0. Luton Town's match with Histon, Oxford United with Rushton and Diamonds and Wrexham with Altrincham, all three postponed. York City 3, Mansfield Town 0. In the Clydesdale Scottish Premier League, Celtic 2, Hamilton Academical 0. Dundee United 0, Kilmarnock 0. Falkirk 0, Hearts 1. Motherwell 1, St Johnstone 3. And St Mirren's match with Aberdeen postponed. In the Unbrew Scottish Division 1, Airdrie United and Dunfermline Athletic and Greenock Morton and Ayr United, both matches postponed. Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1, Dundee 1, Partick Thistle 2, Queen of the South 2, Wraith Rovers match with Ross County postponed. In the Welsh Premier, Aberystwyth Town 2, Haverfordwest County 1, Airbus UK Broughton 1, Elements Cavan Druids 1. Castle's match with Newtown postponed. Carmarthen Town 1, Llanelli 2. Gap Connors Quay 0, Bala Town 1. Prestatyn Town 0, Rhyl 0. And Welshpool Town's match with the New Saints postponed.
And so there's at the top of the Barclays Premier League for you. Chelsea have stretched their lead at the top to 5 points after that draw with Birmingham. Manchester United have the chance to reduce the gap. They play Hull tomorrow. Also tomorrow, third-placed Arsenal against fourth-placed Aston Villa. Spurs say fifth after drawing goalless draw at Fulham. They're 2 points ahead of Roberto Mancini's Manchester City, who beat Stoke 2-0. At the bottom, the day's big movers are West Ham. They're out of the relegation zone after beating bottom side Portsmouth 2-0. Hull, who play Manchester United tomorrow, slip into the bottom two. Bolton stay third from bottom despite picking up a point at Burnley. Let's have a look at the Championship for you. And Newcastle's lead trimmed to 8 points after their draw with Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough. West Brom took advantage. They beat Peterborough 2-0. Third-placed Forest drew at Watford, a result which maintains their unbeaten away record. Defeat at the Hawthorns means Posh replace Plymouth at the foot of the table. Argyle move up one place after a fine win at Cardiff, with Sheffield Wednesday remaining in the relegation zone despite that point they've picked up against Newcastle. Roy Keane's Ipswich suffered their first loss in 11 games, going down 3-1 at Crystal Palace. And the top of League One, Leeds United have stretched their lead to 6 points after coming from behind to beat Hartlepool 3-1. Nine-man Charlton snatched a point against Swindon. They remain second. Norwich and Colchester have their eyes on that second automatic promotion place. Both won this afternoon. At the bottom, Stockport's 4-1 defeat at MK Dons was their 10th loss in a row. They're now 10 points from safety. Wickham remain in trouble after losing heavily at Yeovil. Tranmere's match at Oldham was postponed. Brighton stay in the relegation zone after a goalless draw with Leyton Orient, who are a place above them. And to League Two, Rochdale couldn't make it 7 wins in a row against Crewe, drawing 2-2 at Alexandra Stadium. Their lead's down to 5 points, with second place Bournemouth back to winning ways at Cheltenham. Rotherham's game against Darlington fell victim to the weather, and Dagenham and Redbridge lost at Northampton. At the bottom two both had their games called off, but Cheltenham couldn't take advantage. Lincoln beat Chesterfield 2-1 to give boss Chris Sutton his first win in 10 league games. Chris Hughton's son, Kean, scoring that one of the goals there. Torquay leapfrog Hereford after making it 3 home wins in a row. And, of course, there'll be more tables and more chat on the red button. But, first of all, a quick word with the guys here about your moment of the day. As there were so many good goalkeeping efforts today, I want your save of the day.
Joe Hart, Lampard, has a great chance to put Chelsea ahead. He doesn't do so because Hart is so spectacular, and there's a little altercation between the two players which is very, very worth watching.
Yeah, there's Joe Hart, Kirkland, Jeskelan and Given all pulled off really good saves
The clue is in moment of the game.
For me, if you wait, Gab, for me, Shay Given against James Beattie, very good save at the near post.
And also, Shay Given, of course, had a little injury scare early on in that match, didn't he? And
he did.
Shows you just how vital he is to that
And he's
team.
very strong and he's very obviously determined.
Thank you for sharing your Boxing Day with me here. And don't forget, you can see them on the red button. That's where we'll be in just a few moments' time. You can see Roberto Mancini's first interview here on the red button. Join us for that. If you don't, have a great weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.